Life is full of choices, so let's explore the best ways to thrive. This is a Connecting You podcast, hosted by me, Mayra Richards, and my marketing director, Emily Robinson. Tune in to discover a healed, healthy, and purposeful life.
This is season 5 of the Connecting You podcast. We are back with hard truths, hard conversations about life. The hard truth that we're going to talk about is single parenting. It's the culmination of a lot of things that we were talking about. Maybe you got divorced and then you had to grieve that divorce, and now you're going into a season of single parenting. The hardest thing that I have seen people struggle with in the beginning is this is something they never expected. Whether you were widowed, whether you were divorced, whatever it was that happened, this is never something that as a parent, like going into it, you always saw yourself as having a support. And now maybe you do, maybe that person's totally gone. You have to redefine parenting.
Yeah. Even the fact that, she used to be my client, a female who adopted a baby, and she never expected it to be on her own. She always hoped that it would be with a partner, but ultimately she was getting older. She didn't want to be 50 or 60 by the time she adopted. It's such a beautiful story, but that, again, it wasn't what you expect, because it's freaking hard to be a parent, let alone a parent without somebody. I think of my girls, and if in the afternoon, like after this, would have been working for forever, talking for 8 hours, and Gavin will come home and his job is different. He'll take him outside and play while I do something. I don't even know what I'm going to do. There's a hope of, okay, tag, you're at.
Yeah.
And when you're a single parent, you don't have that break. You don't have the ability to just say, I'm going to stop for a second. Your mom through the loss of your dad, and then my mom through a divorce. They never had a break.
That mentality is something that both you and I have seen for such a long time. It's really hard to show them when they can take a break, right? It's almost like how we were just talking about addiction. It's an addiction to the behavior of I need to be constantly on. I need to be constantly working because otherwise there is this guilt of, I'm not doing enough. I'm not working hard enough for my child in this moment, in every single moment.
Providing for your child. My mom raised 3, and my dad did not give her any financial support, and not to blame my dad for that, but that isn't the fact of the matter. Is that, she grew up thinking, I will give my kids better than I had. To continue to do that, she had to work a ton.
It's even not just an emotional challenge, it's a logistical challenge to be a single parent, to rearrange your life, to figure out how I'm going to get all of these kids to different places on my own. But I want to get back to that idea of redefining what it means to yourself, because as we have seen with all of these different topics, if you don't actively try to change it or process or heal through it, it is just going to stay there.
Yes. So I would go back to that grief of the expectation that you had for your life of being with a partner and having somebody next to you who you could count on and depend on on the times that you felt like you couldn't go anymore. And so there is this processing of, man, this is just not how I saw my life go.
Yeah.
So I would start with that, like redefining, this is a disappointment, probably to self, because I couldn't meet whatever goal it is that you had. And then I would redefine it to you in the sense of not looking at life, focusing on the things that you lack or that your kids lack. My kids don't have a 2 household income. My kids don't have a dad around. My kids don't have a mom around. Not looking at what you lack, but instead focusing on who you are, how brave you are to take on this challenge, how invaluable you are to your kids. And my mom was my hero. Like she was. I thought she was a boss. Look at it from a perspective of, I am showing my daughter, I never thought that I couldn't do something because of her. As a woman, as a Hispanic woman in the U.S., in a different country, I still thought that I could do anything. And that's because I saw that my mom could. That's what I hope. That's what I see my sister doing. She's showing her daughter that she can. That there will be hard circumstances in life, but that she can do it. We can do hard things, and we can thrive doing hard things.
I don't want to misrepresent them, but I do think that the mentality I've seen in a lot of single parents is focused on that lack in terms of, I am now half of a whole. My child now has half of what they were supposed to have with support, or if just through, say they lost their father, like through a masculine figure. With that comes living in a cycle of both guilt, and then also it bleeds into all aspects of your parenting. If you have this mentality, because due to guilt, maybe you will spoil your child, or maybe that is not allowing you to emotionally engage with them because you don't want them to see that you're ever sad, right? Because they have to only see this rock of support. That mentality does bleed into your parenting. It's not just about you.
Yeah, that can lead to your kids. It's not showing them that they don't need anybody. It's showing them that we all need people. When we, for any reason, we don't have that support, then we can still do it. But it's not this thing of we are not going to ask for help, or we're not going to, because I have to do it on my own.
So what would healing look like for a single parent who is looking to redefine the next phase of their life?
I would say healing from this stigma that like there has to be something wrong with you, or you failed, you got a divorce, or there's something, it's just anything. People used to, not anymore, but used to look at single women as there's something that they're lacking, and that stigma still runs around people's heads, and I don't think that's necessarily true. There's a truth that who you are is valuable, who you are is important. You're still giving your kids the best that you can, and we're all, any parents, even two household parents, we all can't give them everything. Like, that is not your job. Your job is not to fulfill every desire and for them never to be sad, or it's just not. And realizing that, hey, even in households with two parents, God will still have to fill in the gaps where we cannot, because we cannot be perfect. Our next episode is on anger, so we will yell at our kids and we will get on to them. But the comfort, the ultimate comfort that I want you to have is that you're not supposed to be everything for them. There are things in life that hopefully, because of what you've gone through, because of what you're going through, that you are teaching them that they can do things that they never maybe would have thought otherwise that they could do.
A part of the pitfall comes from that attempt to be a superhero. You're striving so hard to just be so perfect for them that it falls apart, and you end up not showing them all of yourself or being as close to them as you could have been. There's
a connection that you can have with your kids, whether you're a single parent or not, of being honest with them. The amount of times that I tell my daughter, I got upset with her yesterday because I had said it 3 times or whatever, and then she comes running and she's crying, and then she apologized. I looked at her and I'm like, I am sorry too. I shouldn't have raised my voice. Like, I am sorry. There's this connection that we get that you don't have to have a partner for that, because ultimately they will have a relationship with their dad. Even if you're in a marriage, it will be completely separate from the relationship that you have with your daughter. It will just be separate. So you have to be okay with those relationships being different, even when you're married. So expect that single parents, you have the relationship with your kids that you want, and their father, whoever it is, their mom, whoever she is, will have a different relationship with them. That's okay. You can't give them everything.
So what is the hope for this story?
The hope for a single parent is that they will know that they're valuable, that they're good enough, that they were placed in this earth for this circumstance, and that they're not lacking anything. God has given you everything you need to keep going, and you're doing a good job.
Which is the same thing that we were saying with dating and relationships. I feel like it all comes back to that, knowing that you have to be good enough. What you are has to be good enough. It can't be more than that. It's never going to be more than that.
You can't worry about what you lack, because you don't have it. You have to do with what you have. All you have is you.
There's personal growth that can be done, but those things that you're just never going to be, you can't just try to mold yourself into what you think your child wants, for one thing, because you don't know, really.
Children need to know that they're loved and that they're cared for, and that they're accepted. If you can do those things, then I think you're doing a great job.
Then you can go and listen to our dating season and learn how to re-enter the dating world.
It's just hard being a single parent, because that's a whole other thing of you get so used to you and your little buddy that having to re-enter that world is scary.
People also think, oh, nobody's going to want me now that I have a child, somebody else. That is really not true.
No.
I have seen so many women with children get into a new relationship, and the stigma is not as bad as we build it up to be in our minds as an insecurity.
I even had asked Gavin if he would ever have dated somebody with a child, and he was like, I expected it. At my age, he was 30-something, I expected somebody to have had a child. I actually didn't expect to marry somebody who didn't have children. At a certain point, I think that things have shifted in this society where if the guy loves kids, he's not going to care. I've heard amazing stories. I just heard the story of a woman gave birth, and the dad that decided like the week before that he didn't want to be a part of it. And she called the best friend, who was a guy, and he was like, they had a history, of course. There's a lot of backstory to it. But ultimately, she called him just to come and help her out. And he was like, oh yeah, my daughter was born today. Of course I'm going to come. And he went to the hospital, and they've been married for 30-something years.
Oh my gosh. That's really sweet.
There's hope, and go out there. The hope is not that you find somebody, but if you want it, why not? I hope that you feel encouraged, and that you feel valuable enough, and that you feel good enough that you will allow yourself to be seen by other people and to be loved by another person, to have one more person included who loves your kids as much as you do.
As we said with divorce, single parenting is not a reason that you can't start again.
Absolutely.
The Bible verse for this season is Psalm 46, 1-5. Is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, where its waters roar and foam and the mountains wave with the surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her of the day. Lord Jesus, I pray for everyone who is going through something hard, whether it is separation, and divorce, and addiction, grief, even feeling like they're alone in their lives, God. I pray that there will be an ever-present comfort that you bring into their hearts. There will be a hope that is restored and renewed. And they will know that you are our strength. You are a God who's sovereign above all things, and a God who loves his children well. And I pray that they will know that within the depths of their heart. Would you help them in their struggle? Would you help them every day? May they know that you are holding their hands, helping them into the next day, into the next hour, into the next meeting. I thank you for being an ever-present presence in our hearts. We love you. In Jesus' name.
As we wrap up today's episode, we are grateful you join us to explore what it means to remain connected to God, to yourself, and to others. To stay updated on future episodes, be sure to hit that subscribe button and connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at Remain Connected. Counseling appointments can be made at remainconnectedllc.com. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, may you find peace in your connections and blessings in every step of your journey. Have a blessed day.